Good morning to all of you. Welcome back. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So today's going to be an interesting day. I think that because I woke up this morning wondering, well, I guess I could say I was really wondering who I am, where I am. and and what I'm going to share this morning. And I actually looked at a whole bunch of books, and there was one that I actually grabbed that maybe we'll talk about tomorrow. I love this book. It's one of Joel Goldsmith's. It says, "Man was not born to cry." And it's all coming apart, but it's beautiful, amazing book. But something else came that I felt was more important, and that is the advancing disillusion of the separate self identity that we have claimed and which often makes us feel very nervous. You know what I mean? The nervousness, the fear, even that we begin to experience when we feel ourselves dissolving, we feel our identity beginning to loosen, or we'll use the word annihilated. And it's happening to each one of us on some level, I hope. If it isn't, then you may want to ask for it because this is where it is. And to just allow that that disillusionment, that dissolving, that annihilation to welcome, even though it's profoundly frightening and confusing. And this is what so often happens today. We find this happening more and more with people who are undergoing identity confusion. They are beginning to feel and to realize this is not who I am. This identity that I have claimed, even the way that I live, maybe as a man or as a woman or as this or as that, we begin to feel something dissolving to the point that I realize this is not who I really am. Now, what we often do and what we so often hear today is, okay, so I'm beginning to feel this dissolving. I'm beginning to realize that this identity that I have claimed is not who I really am. So let's choose another one. Whatever that might be, let's choose another way of being. Let's choose another gender. Let's choose another. Well, I had a discussion with my granddaughter Penny yesterday, and she's been making this. I don't know how to describe it. It's going to be kind of a tail that she wears, and she was trying to explain to me there was something that it's sort of an identification that young people use, but she said, I just want to be clear, it's not a furry. I'm not going to be a furry. I said, oh, a furry. Okay. Well, I knew what a furry is. I don't know if you know what a furry is. Okay, when someone realizes that this is not who I am, this identity that I've claimed up until now is not what I really feel like is a dog. What I really feel like is a ferret. And so a furry gets a costume of a dog or a ferret, and this is their new, they live as a whatever it is, with their fur, with their costume, and they adopt that just as someone else may say, I don't feel that the gender that I was born in is appropriate to my identity now, so I'm going to change gender. It's the same thing. Okay. I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong about it. All I'm saying that it rises from the identity confusion, which is initiated by the realization that I am not who I thought I was. The identity that I've claimed up until now is not who I am. It's not who I really am. So I've been feeling a lot of this myself, and I've been just sort of moving into it, loving into it actually, because this great dissolving or annihilation is where it's at. letting go of who we think we are, who we thought we've always been as Jimmy, James, whatever, writer, musician, Franciscan, priest. All of it's like we pile on the identities like blankets, or like wearing a costume over a costume over a costume. Why? Because there's still some kind of fear around the idea that I am the holy, perfect child of God, complete and healed and whole, shining in the reflection of God's love right now. That alone is who I am. And all of the other identities that I've claimed as a man, as a priest, as a Franciscan, all of these other things are beautiful costumes. They're beautiful, but they're not who I am. So in my own life, ever since I was a child, as many of you know, I have always felt this great affinity with St. Francis. I always wanted to be a Franciscan. So when I was 18, I left home and joined the Franciscan order, and then left after a couple of years. But then it was always really there, because I always say that when Francis gets his hooks in you, when that identity gets his hooks in you, it never really lets go. So here I come full circle to a number of years ago, coming back to a Franciscan community, being ordained as an Anglican priest, and feeling secure within that identity until I don't. Because even this must dissolve. So I've been even, and on some level will release that identity that I have claimed around, in order to remember the reality that is forever real, the truth that is forever true. So I'm going to do something right now to sort of symbolize that release. Here we go. Robbie, I need your help. I want you to take this and just set it over to the side, wherever, doesn't matter. I want you to take this, set it over to the side. So there are people already who are saying, "Oh, I love them. I love those chairs. I've had these chairs behind me here for years. I mean, I think almost since we began Namaste Village. I think within probably less than a year of, we've been here for almost 8 years now. And so for, I think less than a year into it is when those were made for us. And they've always been behind. Why? Because I feel like there's an identity that needs to be present in order to proclaim who I am. I am a follower of Francis and Clare. No, I'm not. That's not who I really am. It's an identity that's beautiful in a costume that's lovely, and it's served me well. But even this must be set aside. No different than someone who says, I don't really feel like a man, I feel like a ferret. So I'm going to identify myself as that. I'm going to wear a ferret costume all the time. That's what our identities are. Okay. And it's a fascinating thing, because what binds all of these identities together is what? Anybody know?
Love.
No. What binds them together? Ego, you're getting close. You were the exact opposite of what you said. Fear. It's fear that holds our identities in form, in keeping them nice and straight and tight. Don't let go of that identity. Who are you going to be without it? Who are you going to be without the identity that you've claimed as whatever it is that you've claimed? For me, it was to be a Franciscan. I held on to this my whole life, but that's not who I really am. Who I really am is the holy, perfect child of God, right here, right now. Love, right. But in order to know that, I have to let all of those costumes dissolve, all of them. And that's scary until it's not. But there is, in fact, if it's not scary, you're not doing it right. It has to be a little scary. You know, the book that I have, I'll tell you about more in a moment, that I've been working on, The Annihilated Self. At the very top of the cover, it says, if the truth is not frightening, it's not really the truth. The truth, because we have hidden within our identities, our little cocoons, the truth is something that threatens that. The truth is something that shakes you from who you have claimed as a limited identity. Basically saying you don't need to be that at all because you are the holy, perfect child of God. Relax into that. But before we can relax into that comes the annihilation. And annihilation is always associated with, I'll use the word fear, but anxiety would be another word. So this book, The Annihilated Self, I'm happy to announce that as of yesterday, I reached an agreement with a publisher, the same publisher that publishes A Course of Love, is going to be publishing that book. So this is such a great publishing company that they put out books like this that are just, as we all know, anyone who's been reading A Course of Love knows, just spot on to what we're talking about here today. The release of everything that is not true. And my identity is not true because my identity is what I use to hide from the truth of who I really am. So that being said, what I want to do is I want to read just a little bit again from The Annihilated Self, one section that I found. And I'll say, before I begin reading this, that right before this in the book, I'm talking, remember, this is a conversation between self, which is each one of us, and love, which is the beloved, God, the divine, however you want to look at that. Okay, so it's a conversation, right? And right in the chapter right before this, I was talking with Love about shadow boxing. How when I was a kid, my father said, "You gotta learn how to box. You gotta learn how to fight." So he put me in front of a blank wall, and behind me he put a very bright light so that my shadow would shine onto the wall. And I had boxing gloves, and I would throw punches, still about 3 feet from the wall. And interestingly, the shadow would throw this same punch. Yeah. Every time I would perceive an enemy on the wall or make up and which I was surprised somehow would mimic or match every action that I performed, every punch that I threw. I was only fighting myself, my own identity. So I just wanted you to know that because there's going to be a reference to that. So the conversation begins with the soul. There's something I can't shake, love. Now that I realize that the shadow self has no real substance or power, there's a part of me that worries I might miss the battle. Does that make any sense? It's as if I've grown attached to my own struggle. There's a strange clarity in the battle, a sense of identity. Who am I if I'm no longer wrestling with darkness, even if I know it's an illusion? Ah, sweet soul. It's common for the warrior to miss the battlefield, even when the war is revealed as an illusion, even when the enemy is seen as your own silhouette. There's comfort in motion. There's comfort in noise. There's something reassuring about being against something. Shadow boxing gave you a frame. Now you float, undefined, unmapped, unresisting. And that, to the part of you still clinging to identity, feels like death. But this is a holy death, the one who needed contrast in order to feel real. is beginning to fade. In order to feel real is beginning to fade. You thought the struggle gave your life meaning, and I tell you, it only delayed your life from truly beginning. Then why did I hold on to it for so long? Why did I keep stepping between the light and the wall again and again, knowing each time that the shadow would return? Because you believed the fight would make you worthy of peace. You believed you had to earn rest, but rest is your original condition. You placed the lamp between you and the wall, thinking its purpose was to train you for battle, not realizing that it was really calling you to turn around and see the light. And let me tell you something else. This is something that few are willing to hear. Your shadow, the one that you feared, analyzed, and tried to redeem, was never your enemy. It was your mirror. It showed you everything you believed you were. When you loved it, it softened. But when you resisted it, it grew claws. But it was always a servant of the light, teaching you until you were ready to see what stood behind you. So what happens now? If I'm no longer to fight the shadow and no longer to fear it, do I just live in stillness? No, beloved. You live in flow. You live in flow. Now that you're no longer distracted by the illusion of opposition, you can finally pour. You become like water, clear, formless, obedient to gravity and peace. You speak when words come. You move when the moment calls for you to move. And yes, sometimes the shadow still flickers, but you do not flinch. You do not return to the ring. You simply remember, there is nothing there. There is only the light behind me. Only the light is real. Only the light is real. So for each one of us, there is a great dissolving that is happening. Hopefully. I mean, there is no matter what, but whether we face that dissolving and allow it to joyfully take hold is the choice. In my own life, I'm feeling so many things dissolve. I'm feeling that annihilation very strong lately. And I'm really happy about it because it means this is working. Once again, when the identity is threatened by love, fear immediately enters. But when we just open and allow that great flow to occur, love takes hold and there is no fear. So just pay attention to your own life. Where are you feeling that dissolve? And feel the fear of that. Feel the anxiety of that. Rejoice in the anxiety of that. It means this is working. Don't run away. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let us begin with the welcome queen herself, our dear Vicky. You like
Oh,
that,
Brother
Vicky?
James,
Queen of welcome
wonderful,
itself.
wonderful. And congratulations on that wonderful publisher and everything that is unfolding. And this dissolution, this dissolve, this annihilation, don't miss the battle. Anybody, don't miss the battle. Show up for it. It all depends on goal. when our goal is to live here, you said this, James, have a happy life and have someone hold your hand when you're dying. If that's your goal, well, you can collect all the toys you want and you can rearrange your furry costumes and all that. But if your goal is to be joyful, to be true to who you are, to awaken to the light that we already know and suspect, but now are willing to only be, then don't miss the battle. Yet last week we went through a battle with a dear sister in this room with Linda, whether it's losing our sight, our physical sight, losing our country, losing our world. Oh no, this is happening, the climate, the politics, the everything. It doesn't matter what the form is. What matters is we're calling it devastation because it's not giving us what we thought we wanted. But if we can remember that our goal is to be that flow, to be that love, to awaken to only that, then we're witnessing ourselves in the original separation trauma. All of us made a choice that somewhere there was one costume that was going to work better than anything else, better than God, better than heaven. I'll take that costume. We had contingency plans for heaven. How silly is that? But we did. This will be my everything. And now, when those everything, the costumes all fall apart, they've got mold in them, they've got holes in them, they're all a mess. The world's coming down. Oh no, don't miss the battle. Wherever you are today, it's the perfect battle. It is the perfect setup to let go of a goal. Oh, I wanted to be happy in this home. I wanted to live forever in my home. I wanted to let it go and get a greater goal. Get the big goal. The big goal. I'm the living Christ. I'm just like Jesus. All of us are because we are all one thing. We are that. Get the big goal. Okay, the devastation. Oh, the loss. Oh, the country, the world is falling apart. The despair is the original despair of separation. We threw heaven away and we substituted for a bunch of tinsel. But to get back to it, we have to be choosing for it. It has to be our choice. It's our choice. I'm not buying the tinsel anymore. Bring it on. It seems like a devastating shadow that's out there, big and enormous, but it's nothing. It's just a reflection of the original trauma. Jesus says in the Course, at the outside ring of fear, many are tempted to leave and run away and run away into a new contingency plan. I'll get a ferret costume instead of a squirrel costume. I'll do this, I'll do that. Don't run away. Settle for the distress you're in. Settle for immediate distress. And then, okay, oh, I wanted my body to be better. I wanted to have a healthy life. Okay, I'm not having any of those things. Oh, help. I want a real thing. I want Pinocchio. Don't you want what's real? Don't let your nose grow to 2 feet. Let's get what's real. I want what's real. Okay. I'm not missing the battle. Let it annihilate, dissolve, fall apart. And what do? Welcome, 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 welcome. Get Father Keating's prayer. I welcome everything. I don't care what it is. I welcome the disaster. I welcome let the world fall apart. I welcome everything. I am not leaving heaven this time. This time, when that disaster comes, when that tsunami of emotion, devastation, oh no, I've lost my eye, I've lost my body, when that tsunami comes, I'm staying right there. And that's what the invitation is, James, that you gave us now. Nobody move, everybody stay put. And this time we're choosing heaven. This time, love God now. This time, no more suppressing, no more projecting shadows, no more suppressing, projecting, repressing, blaming, all of it, all of it. Nothing but surrender, Dorothy. Surrender, surrender now. Okay, let it in. I'll take the tsunami. I'll take the devastation. I'll take the hurt. I'll take the loss. Here I am, Lord. And I can hear Teddy. Here I am, Lord. What do you want? Thy will be done. That's the biggest switch. That's the game changer right there. I'm done. No more contingencies, no more substitutes. I'm all yours. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. What is thy will be done? It means I go back to being me, the real me, the me that's the light of the world, the me that my holiness blesses, the me that there's no law that my holiness doesn't uproot because I made them all up. Oh, nutrition and world climate, and I made them up. No more. Death, I made it up. Sickness, I made it up. Thank God I'm not doing that anymore. I'm all yours. I want to be only me. I come home. In devastation, don't miss the battle. Come home. Don't miss the battle. Not this time. I'm not going to avoid what seems pain. You know what it's pain to? The ego's emotional system. It's not so. It's a made up layer of costuming. All of it's made up layers of costuming to avoid going home. I am home. Dear God, I don't even know what that means. But whatever you want, I want it too. I'm all in, all in. That means I'm not substituting, I'm not running off, I'm all in. And then I am part of that flow.
Wow.
Amen, brother.
Wow, there's some energy in that. Thank you so much, Vicky. Wow, we are soaring today. So don't take us in for a landing, Penny. Take us even higher. Come on in. Step into the calico corner and take us higher.
Woo! We have been to church. Wow, wow, wow. So thank you, James. Thank you, Vicky. This is what I offer up to you this morning. You know those identities that you're holding? I want you to envision them as vines knotted up. All those identities and those fears. See them? And they are bound by the glue of fear. And now I see you and see with you turning to the light that brings the warmth, that softens the glue, that releases the vines, and you grow into your greatest expression. Annihilation, dissolving, releasing. You choose the word and allow the light as you turn to the light. Allow the light to carry away that which binds you. If you could see you the way that God in me sees you, you would never question that. And there is nothing to fear in letting go of anything less than that. Namaste.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, well, so take off that ferret costume. Take off that man, woman, whatever costume you're wearing. It is kind of tattered and torn, don't you think? It's needing to just dissolve now so that the you that is forever known by God can be known by you, can shine in every direction. We don't need a shadow box anymore. We don't need the light to be behind us anymore. Turn toward the light. Come with wholly empty hands unto God. And to that we say, Amen, 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 y punto. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. We love you so much. Have a beautiful day.